Alrighty guys, a very warm welcome to another video. So today we're going to be talking about how you can make 2023 your best year yet, whether that's Ironman Triathlon training for your first Ironman or your 10th or whatever number Ironman you're training for, whether it's just training for triathlon or even cycling, swimming, running, any endurance sports or any sports in general, but mainly endurance. This is what really are 5 things you should be focusing on. So this is not a comprehensive list, but I've just compiled a few things that I think you can really use and focus on and separate some of the gimmicks from what really matters. And with regard to that, the gimmicks are always fun, whether it's a new recovery device, whether it's the latest and greatest bike or whatever. And it's not so much gimmicks, but spending money is on the latest and greatest. It's fun. It can give us that dopamine hit, but at the end of the day, remember that what's really going to make you a faster, more durable, more versatile athlete in the long run, and really a healthier person in general, is focusing on the basics. And this is what I think is important if you want to have a great season in 2023. Number one, like we said, prioritize the absolute basics. Recovery, ensure you're getting enough of it, not stressing over it, not rushing out to make recovery processes or recovery methods another stress in your life. So if you're worried about getting to a massage, if you're worried about, doing an hour of recovery every single day, don't stress about it. Just actually use that time to recover. Use it to get more sleep. And that's the second thing here. Optimize sleep. Prioritize sleep. Get to bed as early as you can. I know this is, I know it's by no means an easy task for many people. Most people have jobs. A lot of people have families. They have other commitments. And sleep's one of the first things that does get put on the back burner. But optimizing sleep is one of the best ways in which you can ensure a long and healthy future in endurance sports, particularly something like Ironman that's very demanding on the body. Sleep is where we get all our best recovery processes happening. We're catabolic during the day, which is breaking down, eating away at our reserves. Anabolic during the night, which is building up and recovering and preparing for the next day. During the nights when we get all of our our cortisol will be lowered, our testosterone will be increasing, our growth hormone will be increasing, the thyroid will be optimizing. It's where really all of our important hormonal processes or outputs take place. So optimizing sleep should never be underappreciated or undermined in terms of how important it really is. The next thing, nutrition. Focus again on the basics. Don't worry about having the cleanest diet possible. Just try and eat as best as you can. Try and incorporate whole foods as best as you can, but also as a priority, get enough total energy input with a focus on carbohydrates. Because remember, you're burning through carbohydrates during training, and carbohydrates can facilitate healthy hormone production. I would avoid, fads like ketogenic diets, etc., because you're playing with fire, particularly if you're not doing it under extreme supervision. So focus on nutrition in terms of eating as best as you can, allowing yourself, the odd comfort food or whatever, because you're training anyway. Don't try and lose weight too quickly if weight loss is your goal, because that's going to compromise your capacity to train well. And just generally eat enough. This is a common pitfall of many athletes, is actually just under eating and under fueling, which therefore leads to poor training outcomes. Even if you're eating a perfect diet in terms of healthy foods, if you're not eating enough, you're not going to be training well. So focus on getting enough in as a priority, and then eating as healthy foods as you can as a priority. And that is going to set you up for a great season. Number two, set goals and enter races. Obviously, it seems pretty obvious, but without set goals, and I would say, focus mainly on 1 to 2 key races for your season at a maximum, particularly if that involves 1 or 2 Ironmans and full distance or even 70.3s, because you really can only peak up for 1 or 2 races a year, particularly if you've got many other things going on in your life. That doesn't mean don't enter more races than 1 or 2. Race what you deem to be capable of, or like what you deem to be reasonable. Race as many races as you think you can handle. However, really only try and set goals and have 1 or 2 key races per year as your absolute priority, and focus on that, because that is going to, and doing that early is going to keep you motivated during the season, knowing that you have key races coming up and you can race along the way in or along that process of peaking for those races. 3, train smarter. Now, this is a term that's thrown around so often and too often. Train smart, not hard. You want to train hard. You want to improve. The only way you're going to do that is through hard training. But train smarter in terms of, if you're doing very unstructured training and you want to really take it to the next level, research and invest in a good coach. I think that obviously training with a structured program, a coach can be a good benefit there. And obviously, not every coach is going to suit every athlete to a T. So find what works for you, talk around, try different coaches if you need to. Don't switch and swap between coaches every 2 months. Give it time. And then just trust that process once you feel comfortable with a coach. Also, if you want to improve swimming, for example, if you can avoid it, stop going to the pool by yourself. Stop going down the ocean or the bay or the open water by yourself. Join a swim squad, because it takes a lot of the mental workload or taxation out of actually worrying about what you're going to be doing for the session. If you join a squad, you can rock up early morning, get in that routine, swim and do their sessions, and by nature and by product of just more swim volume, better quality, doing it with other people and pushing yourself, and with a coach as well, you're going to improve. And you really take that workload, that mental burden off going down by yourself and having to self-motivate when you're with others. Number 4, monitor your health. Many athletes do not do this. And it's something that I kind of bang on a lot about, but it's for good reason, because without objectively monitoring your health markers, and this is really through obviously health screening, etc., and then how you're feeling from a subjective level, but objectively going and getting blood tests if you can. Obviously, it's not always going to be available for many people. However, think about it like this: if you can drop $1,000+ on an Ironman race, you can probably spend a couple $100 and get 1 or 2 blood tests a year, 1 at a minimum, 2 ideally, and monitor your bloods in terms of your iron stores, your so that includes your ferritin, make sure you're not becoming anemic, your vitamin B12, making sure that's right up there, because these are all very important for performance. Monitor your hormone levels, so your AM cortisol, your testosterone, your thyroid status, so your thyroid stimulating hormone, and other things alongside that. Monitor your vitamin D, very important, very underrated in terms of its effect on performance, and also how common it is as a deficiency. Even if you're getting out in the sun, if you're wearing a lot of sunscreen or covering up, you may well be vitamin D deficient without knowing it. I've done many many videos on blood tests to get, so go back and check out some of those previous ones for a full comprehensive list of what you should be focusing on and what you should be prioritizing for a blood test, and really ensuring that you're monitoring that, because it's your best objective way of avoiding overtraining and avoiding kind of working yourself into a hole that's otherwise going to be very hard to come out of. And if you can avoid going down into a hole that you're going to need to dig yourself out of in terms of overtraining and fatigue, then that's going to help you have a better season overall. So you can really objectively see where you are and if you're doing too much or if it's all too stressful. Number 5, keep it fun. Again, seems like a basic tip, seems like a bit of a fluffy one, but it's by no means something to overlook, because again, even if you're the most motivated of athletes, if you're really determined and you're trying to go off and be a lone wolf, so to speak, well, people improve when they train with others and when they train with other people who are even better than them. And, riding with others is more enjoyable. Running with others can be more enjoyable. Obviously, swimming in a squad is going to help motivate you. Keeping it fun, training with others, and even if that means that you're not, you do 1 session a week or a couple of sessions a week where you may not have the most structured training, but you go down with a bunch of your mates and you can talk some banter and talk banter before, enjoy the actual session, talk banter after. Well, you're going to get more out of that, even just from a refreshing or from a mental health, reset or just that feeling of connectedness and refreshing yourself mentally. So training with others is very important if you want to do well, particularly in the long run, but even just, enjoying your training and then motivating yourself to, or getting that motivation to get to that next session. Because, hey, last session, how good was that when we were down with our friends and we were talking crap and we had a great time. So train with others, I think that's an important tip. Not all the time, but just maybe once a week if you can, or more, depending on who you are. And take a break if you're feeling burnt out. And I put that under keeping it fun, because if you're feeling burnt out and you're going into overtraining, it's never going to be fun to be going out and training and feeling like crap. Taking a break may seem counter productive in terms of progressing and having a good season. However, you're better off taking a week off if you're starting to feel run down, getting a little bit sick, or just feeling flat in general, because having a week off in the scheme of 52 weeks during the whole year is going to have such a negligible effect. And if anything, it's going to help you to just absorb the training you've done, reset mentally, reset physically, get everything back in order, and then go again. So take a week off and do not feel any guilt having a week off, because a week off training, 2 weeks back training, you're going to be back at the same level you were before. You're not going to lose much. You're not really going to lose anything until you start having 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks off. So don't worry about a week off, and take that little break if you are feeling burnt out, because there is what's the quote? You'd rather be 10% underdone than 1% overdone in terms of burnt out, fatigued leading into a race, and even mentally fatigued and over it. And you'd rather be a little bit underdone but ready to go, eager to race, and enthusiastic about your training and still enjoying it and keeping it fun. So there's 5 tips I think that can help anyone become or have the best 2023 that they possibly can in terms of training, racing, race results, and even just enjoying training in general and becoming a better athlete in the process. So leave any comments down below. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that video and it didn't ramble on too much. And I'll see everyone in the next video. Take care, guys, and Happy New Year's in a couple of days. Cheers.